think you can handle yourself against the attack of the devil using disinfectant spray?
Wrong! You need the full armor of God. How are we going to get that? By watching this video! The full armor of God!
Featuring Andrew Smith.
Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Hey guys, it's Andrew Smith here. Today we're going to be talking about a battle. A little bit about fighting, a little bit about defending yourself with the armor of God. We're going to be going over Ephesians today. Hope everybody's having a good time and being safe, especially in these kind of weird, crazy times. But let's jump right in. So today's lesson is about a battle. Not just about any battle that was fought, but we're talking about a battle that's happening in every house, everywhere. Might be even happening in your house right now. We're talking about a spiritual battle. A battle that God's going to help us fight and stuff. So if you were in a fight or doing some type of battle, just say, take this for example, would you perhaps sneak up on the enemy? Or maybe you're the Kung Fu type. Don't quite know. But we're actually going to be talking about a different way. This enemy can't quite be seen. Ephesians 6:10, finally, be strong in the Lord and mighty in power. With God's strength, fighting the enemy is no problem. And we can see exactly what's going on. Today I'm going to also be going over some strategies the enemy uses and how we can better defend them by putting on the armor of God. Put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against the devil's schemes. That's our enemy. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, meaning people, but against the rulers, against the authorities, and against the powers of the darkness of this world, and against spiritual forces and evils of the heavenly realms. That's pretty crazy. I mean, we're talking about the devil himself is our enemy, who we're going to war with. The big bad number 2. Now, we'll jump into verse 13. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. Defending righteousness. First strategy the devil uses is temptation. Maybe it's to steal that cookie you shouldn't have taken out of the jar. I see you. Or maybe it's to be tempted to fight your siblings. Let's think about some bad things that have tempted you. Could it be stealing something? Could it be possibly, again, fighting somebody? What are some things that tempt you? What are some ways that you can better defend yourself against that? The Bible says that to defend our hearts from the enemy's temptation is how we can wear the belt of truth and the body armor of God in righteousness. Righteous is knowing the truth and making right choices. God is completely righteous. He's perfect and true, and with God's help, we can make right choices. Let's see how that works. Belt may not seem like an important piece of armor, but it surrounds you. Just like God's righteousness surrounds you and helps keep you from temptation, helps hold you all together. The enemy goes straight for our heart, but God is strong and we are strong with him. Another strategy the enemy uses to fill our hearts with worry. Am I worried about a test I'm about to take? Or maybe I'm worried we have a lot of this stuff going on and we're all sheltered in place now. The devil can actually use that against us, make us fear. One of the ways that the righteous armor can protect us is to take care of that worry and shows us to walk on worry. So by putting on the body of armor of righteousness, we can also walk on worry. Example of that is our shoes. Shoes don't seem like a big thing. I mean, they're nice to run in or whatever. But on a battlefield, there's stuff scattered everywhere. There's swords, there's all kinds of different stuff. In this case, there's worry all over the place. Anywhere we go, you could be worrying about something. By putting on the boots of righteousness, it allows us to easily walk through and not have to worry. In the Bible, the shoes have a cool name. They're called the boots of peace. The reason is, when you're at peace and you're calm and you're collected, you don't have to worry. It's as simple as that. You don't have any worries. For instance, if you wear shoes and you go outside and you're going to walk on glass, you're not worried that you're going to cut your feet. You've got good shoes on. The boots work the same way in the spiritual realm more than anywhere. When the devil's trying to worry, make you worry, or things are just coming bad, you can easily walk over worry. Now we're going to go over another piece of armor in the Bible. In Ephesians 6:16, in addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming evils the evil one throws at you. So, just like in battle again, there's crazy war, there's enemies everywhere. They're shooting arrows at you. The shoes are good. You don't have to worry. The sword is great. You can fight. But you still have to be able to block and be able to protect yourself. The shield of faith allows you to put your faith into something, allows you to have worry in God, allows you to block all that. One way the shield works, the shield of faith works, is to protect you from fiery arrows. The fiery arrows kind of count as doubts. So we talk about worry. Let's say, what was a good doubt? Doubt that I can make a test. Doubt that I'll succeed. I just spelt succeed wrong, but we're going with it. Alright? Now in the Bible, it talks about fiery arrows. Those fiery arrows work as doubts. They're a weapon that the enemy can use to get in our heads, to make us doubt ourselves. Simple as that. And when you doubt yourself on the battlefield, how can you wield a sword? How can you run in the battlefield when you're too worried about the doubts? Doubt of succeeding, doubt of winning the fight. Instead of an arrow being able to hit me, I can put faith in my shield that it'll block the doubts being thrown at me. All the different failures that I might think I have, or being able to fight in this war. The shield protects me from all that, and it protects me from the devil himself. Now another thing to say, having faith in the shield doesn't mean you won't have questions. Doesn't mean that you'll wonder what's going on in this fight or what's going on with God. But when you have all these questions and you have these doubts, and questions turn into doubts, that's how the devil can get in your head and how you can lose the war very quickly. When you doubt yourself or you doubt what's going on, then you lose sight of why you're fighting this war. Having faith in God and having faith in your shield is what protects you from this and keeps you in this righteous state, just like God. And that's who we want to be, is like Jesus. So here's another piece of armor that's probably one of the most important in the Bible, and it is the helmet of righteousness. Now the helmet of righteousness does a few things, alright? It's pretty stylish. One of the devil's biggest strategies is to get in our head, make us believe we're bad people, make us believe other things are wrong, make us, again, doubt, make us believe our doubts. The helmet protects your head. So for example, I've got my shield protecting my body. I can block wherever I want. But without the helmet, the top of my head's gonna get hit. And when I have that helmet on, that was a bad example, but when the helmet's on, it's not gonna hit. Protects me. When we ask Jesus to forgive us, he forgives everything we have done wrong. And we can believe in that as a fact. The devil will sometimes say that we'll never be forgiven, or something's wrong. That's not true. With our helmet on, we know that's true though. Helmets protect our heads, right? We talked about that. Protects us from the doubts and everything. Salvation also protects us from lies. Again, we're talking about all these doubts, all these disbeliefs we might have, because the devil is the liar. And the devil might make us lie. The devil has all these different influences. But our helmet protects us from these things. It is our salvation helm. God is strong and we are strong in him, even in the face of these lies. We've already put on the belt of truth, and we've already put on the shoes of peace, and we've talked about the helmet. The Bible itself is our sword, and you guys are going to have some of these pages that you'll be able to print out or have with you, and they're different Bible verses. These Bible verses work as our swords. When they talk about the Bible being our sword, it's because everything in the Bible we can go to, or we can find answers in the truth. When the devil tries to lie to us, try to throw doubts at us, first thing we can put our faith in is our mighty weapon. A mighty weapon that says, no, you're wrong. And here's how you're wrong. You're wrong with this and this and this and this. So for example, John 3:16, for this is how God so loved the world. He gave his one and only Son, so that everyone who believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. How is that a weapon? Well, we talk about these lies. What if you have a friend who doesn't believe, who's been told lies that God's not real, God doesn't care about us? You can now pull out this sword to slay that demon that they've heard all their life of God has died for us. He gave his only Son for us. That is your weapon. It's your toolkit. Philippians 2:14. Do everything without complaining and arguing. How is that a weapon? We can cut down all of that worry and disbelief and everything. We can cut down those things that are talking to us like that. Because when we start having all these disbeliefs, then we lose our helmet and we lose all of our armor, and now we're just on a battlefield, nothing in our skivvies, and that's no good.
Thank you for your participation. We hope you enjoyed this presentation on how to use the full armor of God. Remember to wield your weapons and armor responsibly and truthfully. Never let this armor leave your side.
See you next week.